Page 103. My Mother Leaving Greenville. It is late autumn now, the smell of wood burning, the pot-bellied stove like a warm, soft hand in the center of my grandparents' living room, its black pipe stretching into the ceiling, then disappearing. So many years have passed since we last saw our father, his absence like a bubble in my older brother's life that pops again and again into a whole lot of tiny bubbles of memory. "You were just a baby," he says to me. "You're so lucky you don't remember the fighting or anything." It's like erasers came through her memory, my sister says. Erase, erase, erase. But now, my mother is leaving again. This I will remember. Halfway home number 1. New York, my mother says. Soon I'll find us a place there. Come back and bring you all home. She wants a place of her own that is not the Nelsonville house, the Columbus house, the Greenville house, looking for her next place, our next place. Right now, our mother says, we're only halfway home. And I imagine her standing in the middle of a road, her arms out, fingers pointing north and south. I want to ask, will there always be a road? Will there always be a bus? Will we always have to choose between home and home? My mother looks back on Greenville. After our dinner and bath, after our powdered and pajamaed bodies are tucked 3 across into bed, after Winnie the Pooh and kisses on our foreheads and longer than usual hugs, my mother walks away from the house on Hall Street, out into the growing night, down a long dusty road to where the Nickeltown bus takes her to the Greyhound station. Then more dust, then she's gone. New York ahead of her, her family behind. She moves to the back, her purse in her lap, the land pulling her gaze to the window once more, before darkness covers it, and for many hours there are only shadows, only stars and tears and hope. The last fireflies. We know our days are counted here. Each evening we wait for the first light of the last fireflies, catch them in jars, and then let them go again, as though we understand their need for freedom, as though our silent prayers to stay in Greenville will be answered if we do what we know is right. Changes. Now the evenings are quiet with my mother gone, as though the night is listening to the way we are counting the days. We know even the feel of our grandmother's brush being pulled gently through our hair will fast become a memory. Those Saturday evenings at our kitchen table, the smell of Dixie Peach hair grease, the sizzle of the straightening comb, the hiss of the iron against damp, newly washed ribbons, all of this may happen again, but in another place. We sit on our grandparents' porch, shivering already against the coming winter, and talk softly about Greenville summer, how when we come back we'll do all the stuff we always did, hear the same stories, laugh at the same jokes, catch fireflies in the same mason jars, promise each other future summers that are as good as the past. But we know we are lying. Coming home will be different now. This place called Greenville, this neighborhood called Nickeltown, will change some, and so will each of us. Sterling High School, Greenville. While my mother is away in New York City, a fire sweeps through her old high school during a senior dance. Smoke filled the crowded room, and the music stopped, and the students dancing stopped, and the DJ told them to quickly leave the building. The fire lasted all night, and when it was over, my mother's high school had burned nearly to the ground. My mother said it was because the students had been marching, and the marching made some white people in Greenville mad. After the fire, the students weren't allowed to go to the all-white high school. Instead, they had to crowd in beside their younger sisters and brothers at the lower school. In the photos from my mother's high school yearbook, The Torch, 1959, my mother is smiling beside her cousin, Dorothy Ann, and on her other side there's Jesse Jackson, who maybe was already dreaming of one day being the first brown man to run for president. And not even the torching of their school could stop him or the marchers from changing the world.